Okay guys, we are here to get up to speed on how far we've come so far in exploring computer science. We're 20 days in, and we've learned about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This will probably be a multi-part series, starting with the very basics. As you can see here, I've got my Visual Studio Code up and running, and then I've got my Explorer over here with all of my different files. I'll use period 3 as the example here. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to create a whole new folder and call it the demo folder. Okay, and I'm going to put this folder out here. Okay, now inside that folder, I'm going to create a new folder. And in that folder, I'm going to give it my name. And in that folder, you guessed it, I'm going to create a new file. Now, there's lots of different ways to do these things, right? I can click on this, I can do this, and right-click here and say New File. And I can call it index.html because that's what a browser would first look for when it was shopping for files, if you directed it to demo and Cozort_Chris there. Notice there's no spaces in these names. Notice that I use the .html to tell it it's an HTML document. So that's important and something to hang on to. One thing that I want to point out here is that I'm already in the quote-unquote right place with these files, meaning if I go here and I say reveal in Explorer, and this means Windows Explorer, it shows a demo folder in here, which is in my OneDrive ECS Fall 2019 folder, demo folder. I can't emphasize enough, this stuff is important. We wouldn't learn about it in class if it wasn't. Directories are where files and folders live. Folder and directory are synonymous, and the files inside these folders matter, right? This is our index. So that's how we access data and information through a computer, and this file, index.html, is named purposefully. You need to make sure that it's called index.html. Anyway, because I don't have it all memorized, and because I don't need to have it all memorized, but I know where to go for it, the next place I would want to go might be MDN. So I'm going to peel a tab off here in my recording and go ahead and go to MDN. And then I'm going to use the MDN web docs and go to HTML, go to HTML basics. I'm going to scroll down. Maybe if I need to review any of this, I will. But this is the anatomy of an HTML document. Right here, I can just copy this and paste it into, you guessed it, Visual Studio Code. Right? And we've talked a little bit about the purpose of these different things. But these are HTML tags. This is actually a nice little structure here. I'm not going to go over all this stuff right now because we've moved on to JavaScript, but if you need a refresher on it, you can go back to MDN and get that. At any rate, let's get to JavaScript. So again, up in our head, we have a couple different things that we can put up here. If we wanted to, we could put style. And you know, we can do the things that we know how to do. For example, we could make all paragraphs have a color of red or something, right? And also here we can have our JavaScript. Now, we don't have any JavaScript to work with over here in our demo folder yet, so I need to create a new folder. I'm going to create that, and I'm just going to call it JS. Okay. Inside the JS folder, I'm going to create a new file called rockpaperscissors.js or rps.js. Okay, make sure that's correct, and it will pop up right there and say, oh, I'm a JavaScript file, which is pretty great. VS Code is more and more impressive every day for me. But now we need to connect these two. We need to bind them together. So I can do a script src equals, and then we're going to do js /rps, right? And now it's going to close that tag, and that's what that should look like. the cool thing about that is, well, we found it. If I control click on it, it shows me, hey, there it is. I've got it. I'm going to do an alert. Hello world. Just to get started here. And then I'm going to come over here. Now I can do this any number of ways. I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to say reveal in Explorer. Double click this and I should immediately get an alert, and I did. Okay, which is pretty great. So all of that stuff, we're about 5 minutes in, is how we create an HTML document, put the core elements of an HTML document in here, and then we move on to linking that rock, paper, scissors file to it. Okay? So, as always, I prefer that the first comment be this file was created by, and then put your name, okay? And then you can start coding. Okay? So we'll, in the next video, after we've now set up a basic HTML document and a basic index document as our HTML document and a basic JavaScript document, these are now linked thanks to line 11. We'll talk about actually coding with JavaScript.